All right, and we're back once again with the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald coming right back at you here with another amazing interview. And I'll tell you what, this young lady was just so excited to get back on the air for our June TV update that, you know what, she just couldn't hold back. She had to go out and reach out to me and say, you know what, Gerald, I need to go ahead and tell your listeners what's going on in the TV world because she is one of the premier writers for the TV Ratings Guide. You got to check out everything going on today at the TVRatingsGuide.com, all their original programming that they have. Of course, they give you all the latest news and updates on the TV rating scene, reviews, articles, and so much more. You got to check it out today, the TVRatingsGuide.com. It is my good friend, Miss Jessica Boggs. And I'll tell you, Jess, you've got a lot to talk about today when it comes to TV going on this summer.
Yeah, there are a lot of upcoming premieres based on June alone, both on the broadcast and cable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know you also wanted to talk about the schedules and how they rank as far as because all the networks after, what happened in May with the upfronts and all that, just like you said, like you told me, they would go ahead and just release the schedules right after. And I saw some of the trailers for the upcoming shows and whatnot that are coming this fall. So you will also have a listing of the kind of a ranking of which schedules you're most excited about and which ones you're not. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Before we go ahead into the ranking of the schedules, I know there's some updates you want to give everybody as far as summer TV programming out there.
Well, we got a lot of returnees coming from Fox, NBC in the reality type thing. So You Think It Can Dance is coming back on Fox. MasterChef Junior we have the finale. And then there's Black Mirror on streaming coming on Netflix. 3 episodes of it.
And I know a lot of people are excited for that. Black Mirror has captivated audiences, especially after the two really strong episodes towards the end of the year, especially the interactive one that caught the imagination for many people within pop culture in the latter half. In fact, actually, I was just going to say December of 2018. So a lot of people are excited for Black Mirror coming around the corner from Netflix. It's one of the big hits of Netflix that they have helped generate, and a lot of people are excited for that. I know a lot of people are excited for some of the other things on streaming as well, but are there anything on as far as the broadcast networks? I know as far as American Ninja Warriors coming back, obviously that's a given coming. It's here already. It's June. It's about that time. Plus, Elementary is now deep into a couple episodes in already as far as its final season for CBS. That's something near and dear to my heart to see how it closes out. But also a lot of other interesting things like America's Got Talent. You mentioned that, and some other shows as well. So it is going to be an interesting summer this time around.
Well, we also have what's going on with the CW is starting to premiere their shows this week for Masters of Illusion for next week, Burden of Truth, and we also have some other shows coming on ABC. Sunday programming, the Celebrity Family Feud, the $100,000 Pyramid, To Tell the Truth. They're all coming on Sunday on the 9th. And then there's the Press Your Luck revival, the Card Sharks revival, and Match Game premiering season 4. That's it. Which is pretty much ABC going like all game show heavy this summer, besides airing The Bachelorette.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you, which of those game shows do you feel is going to connect the most with audiences? I know Alec Baldwin, he has had mixed reaction to some of the stuff that he's done as far as summer programming is concerned. I could just tell you off the bat. But which of the shows you feel, the game shows, I should say, which of the game shows you feel will connect most with audiences this summer?
With the new shows, it's I would go with Press Your Luck, but it's not that much though. But with the returning shows, it could go either way because Celebrity Family Feud has been on the decline for how long? For a few seasons now, but still strong for summer.
But there's still a lot of options that are there. Like you said, there's a lot of game shows that are coming to ABC. NBC is a little bit different as far as more reality television, whether it's athletic or singing or just variety performances. Your thoughts on America's Got Talent, America's Ninja Warrior? That type of mentality from NBC seems to have put them in a good place each and every summer. Do you think that success will continue as far as them continuing to promote those type of shows?
And I think for the most part, they're always going to be, for the most part, summer. That's why AGT had a spin-off. But I think mostly it has been hit and miss. With Little Big Shots, it hasn't done that well or justifying a renewal because plus there's also been some controversy with, but not much of a controversy because Steve Harvey got fired from his talk show and we got a new host for Little Big Shots in Melissa McCarthy.
And that seems to be something of talk. I guess I've seen it on some of the trade outlets like Variety and Hollywood Reporter hinted at, or when they're going ahead with their press releases, as far as bigger name stars that are most predominantly seen on sort of a film movie type format, or some really high profile TV stars that are actually coming to work, maybe like almost like an off season type deal where they're coming to do these type of shows where you're seeing more, I guess, of a appearance by individuals such as The Rock, like you said, Melissa McCarthy, and there's several others. How do you think that's going to impact the ratings? How do you think that's going to impact the interest of viewers and audiences out there when you have such a high profile name? Because like you said, we have seen that, and there's been some hits and misses when it comes to those high profile shows with high profile actors and actresses as a part of it.
That's going to be mostly a miss for the most part because it has everything to do with expenses and least to do with ratings. But
And
when the
and that's
ratings get lower, that's when it becomes more expensive.
okay. And but do you see, as as far as some of these shows being a hit with that lead actress or lead actor or host in a role that we are so familiar with from those big blockbusters that they're a part of, that you see almost every year? It just seems interesting that it's almost like a second job. It's almost like a second or third job for them that they're picking up. Like, I have a break in my schedule. I think I'll go do a game show. Or, hey, I have a break in my job. I have a break in my summer here. Let me go ahead and just be a part of this, or throw my name into the mix as far as being a part of this reality type format.
It's kind of like what happened with Mike Myers, though, in his impression of a British comedian hosting
The Gong Show.
Yeah, and it worked, and then it didn't sustain itself for seasons 2 because it stayed on Thursday, and Thursday wasn't doing too hot.
And that's a shame because, as you and I both know, for advertisers and revenue, Thursday is one of the most important viewing days of the week, because of the fact that you see a lot of stuff coming out for, like, for instance, movies. Movie companies love to heavily advertise on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as it gets closer to the premiere of their movies. So They love to go ahead and dish out the ad dollars specifically for those primetime evenings. And that's why a lot more eyes as well are on it, because people are home more often on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and they go out more often on Fridays and Saturdays and whatnot. But even in the summertime, it's still, you need to go ahead and get those eyes out there. What type of game shows you feel are going to be able to connect with an audience? You mentioned Press Your Luck, I think, is one of them that is going to be something that will connect a lot with audiences over the course of the summer. Is there any other intriguing shows you feel are going to be able to connect with audiences in a way that may surprise some people out there?
Well, Card Sharks is close behind with the Press Your Luck on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to see what's happening next. And then later into June, we got Holy Moly and then Family Food Fight and Reef Break coming on June 20th. So that's going to be an interesting term of events for summer.
I have a feeling Family Food Fight is going to be a more of a cooking show than an actually throw pie in the face of people type show, because I would enjoy the latter instead of the former.
It's like, imagine, like, this is not going to sustain itself with the everybody throwing food at each other, and I still don't even get the premise.
Well, I just wanted to understand what it was all about because I heard of it, didn't actually see the promo for it, but I'm hoping it'll be something where people get a chance to throw some food at each other, because to me that seems kind of interesting and fun. You're right, whether it lasts long term or that type of novel concept, that remains to be seen. But yes, I do think that there's going to be a lot of good stuff going on over the course of the summer with a lot of great shows, a lot of great programming that are still available to people out there. So, yes, while everybody's doing a lot of great things out over the course of summer and going on trips and whatnot, there's still some great shows out there. American Ninja Warrior, I want to ask you really about that because I know for my family, they still watch it quite a bit. What are the prospects for American Ninja Warrior? I know they're coming up with a new type of obstacle event that they're trying to go ahead and make more of a competition out of, as far as head to head, as opposed to one person does it, then another person does it. And do you see this as something that might boost some, I'm not going to say sagging ratings, but ratings that have not trended up in recent times?
I think for the most part, um, the core audience is still there for American Ninja Warrior at this point, but we have to see if a fresh way would sustain itself. And it's still too early to tell with that.
It is a little bit too early. I get that, but I feel that American Ninja Warrior still has a strong and solid audience base. Whether or not it can sustain that or grow off it again and just be that juggernaut that it has been for so many years, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm hopeful for it. It's still always an enjoyable show. Although personally, in that type of realm, my favorite type of show was Wipeout, which was a staple of summer
Same.
program. Yes, there you go, a staple of summer programming for many years. I have a feeling this is not something I've heard on news or anything like that, but I have a feeling, since you and I both know in the television and film industry, what is old will become new again. I have a feeling at some point in time, Wipeout will be brought back from the dead. I think it's to me, it's just such an enjoyable show, and that I believe at some point in time they will bring it back from the dead, whether to try it at least one more time to see if it will work with audiences. To me, I just loved it. That and its predecessor, it's based off of MXC. If you ever catch that on YouTube or what was once Spike Television, that was just an amazing show indeed. But be that as it may, there's a lot of other great things going on with summer programming. You wanted to talk a little bit about what was going on cable and all the things that are going on with cable television out there. I want to talk to you first about Freeform. And you mentioned Freeform, as I have. And I've not been too kind about Freeform. I think it should not even be on the air, or they should go ahead and reformat it into something more substantial that would meet either a niche audience or that would meet a broader audience with something with better content. Because for me, the issue has been content, and it seems like it's just been shows that have been sent to die go to Freeform, and it just seems like the network in and of itself has just been never well thought of. Am I wrong in that perception?
Um, no, you're not wrong. And basically, the ratings for like the recent shows on Freeform, Pretty Little Liars, it didn't work. Uh, Good Trouble, meh. Everything is like at point 2 or below with almost every show. And Grownish, which is premiering to be this month, the second half of season 2, it's lagging quite a bit too in the ratings aspect. But there's also been a regime change in Freeform since Freeform's president moved to ABC, which is probably eh. We'll go into that a little bit later in the schedule ranking.
Okay, and that's fine. But you know, if I
Sure.
was looking at promoting or hiring someone, moving someone from to run ABC, I would not look at Freeform, because Freeform has not been a success. A network. I don't care who it is, and let's get that out of the way. I don't care who it is that's running ABC now, because I know who it is that's running ABC now. But the individuals past, as far as if it's from Freeform, Freeform has not been built up as a success. And if you're putting someone in the position to run ABC, come on, you got to have that at least that recent history where you're building up a successful network. And as you and I have said, that Freeform has never been a success at any point in time. I've never thought of it as something that I have to go and watch. And unfortunately, Freeform has to go ahead and reevaluate itself. In fact, Disney, because it's owned by Disney, it has to reevaluate exactly what Freeform is doing. I think there's so many better uses for what Freeform could be, and as far as evolving into, and especially now that they have FX, that they have FXX, that they have officially, Hulu, the whole thing. They're
And
not. They're
National
not.
Geographic too.
Yeah, and National Geographic too, and they have those entities now. There is not a need for Freeform, because there's so many other higher platform opportunities for them to go ahead and promote their shows. Freeform seems like this. I don't know. I mean, you have this collection of trophies inside your room, and then you have this little one for participation award way in the back. That to me is Freeform, stuck in the back gathering dust, as far as that's concerned. So I think you could still do something with it. You don't have to shut it down entirely, but I still think a reformatting of Freeform is in order. And I think that something needs to be done with that network, because it's been a joke. You even said it now. I mean, I've been telling you now for what, almost 2 years, how much of a running joke. And now they don't even have the Harry Potter franchise anymore, so they can't even rerun Harry Potter to death. So that being said, Freeform does need to go ahead and reevaluate itself. But there's so many other cable options out there, and there's so much other cable news you want to talk about. So share the goods, my friend. What is going on with cable this summer that you really want to talk about and get over? Because I really want to hear the latest updates on what's going on in the world of cable.
Well, mostly we have all the we got upcoming premieres for, and with summer with cable, you got all the award shows for the first one being CMT, though Younger is then coming on the TV land, which I thought it was going into Paramount, but now it's not. Paramount is like hit and miss. Most of the shows are unscripted, just like on MTV, but more geared towards a different type of audience. Yellowstone is the only scripted success on Paramount so far.
But they're doing a little things. They're doing some things differently. I know, and you forgive my laughing, but the person now, what's the host name of Bar Rescue?
Um, I honestly have.
Okay, but the guy who's
It's
hosting, Bar Rescue, and I'll look up his name while you're talking. What are your thoughts on the guy from Bar Rescue becoming actually starting up a show where he's now trying to save marriages? So he gets you drunk, and now he goes ahead and tries to get you from not being
John Tapper.
divorced. John Tapper, yeah, there you go, John Tapper. Uh, I just think that's amazing. That takes a lot of gall and bravado. You know, if I'm John Tapper and Paramount says, or I've got a great idea for this show, and Paramount greenlights it. I'm taking the cash all day long. That being said, how legitimate is this, and do you see any type of success for it? Because I don't, but you know what? It could be one of those situations where I'm totally off base and it finds that niche because they see two people arguing for 30 minutes and at the end of the show they're hunky dory.
And then there's like wife swap coming back, and again on with the revivals.
Yeah, but still, your thoughts on this John Tapper? I mean, Paramount's starting to think outside the box, and I appreciate that. And while there's still some things I would do when it comes to the Paramount Network, I still think that there's a lot of room left to grow. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Marriage Rescue is going to be a success with John Tapper? Because that's just when I saw that commercial.
Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
That sounds like a VH1 type MTV type show, though,
I mean,
except for older adults.
well, it's just because the fact it's not. I'll use an older reference, a Dr. Drew or someone that's really experienced in the field, and is someone that's not experienced in the field trying to deal with this. That might be a car crash, and people love to watch a car crash, so it actually might be something that a lot of people might enjoy for one reason or another. But it's just crazy that this is actually going to go ahead and come to fruition, and audiences are going to see it this summer. Just it blows my mind. It blows my mind. But your thoughts overall on Paramount Network? What do they need to do to actually go ahead and achieve that kind of regular audience, which they're at this point is still up in the air on whether or not they're going to be able to continue it or not?
I think it's going to probably be scripted for most part has been hit or miss. The only hit being a mini series and Yellowstone. But I think eventually this is going to turn into mostly unscripted, just like MTV is unscripted. Who knows where Scream season 3 is going to be airing?
And that's a shame because Paramount Network. Remember, it started off with a miniseries based off the events in Waco, Texas, which actually got some decent reviews. It garnered some interest, and actually got the network off to a good start. A lot of people were very interested to see what was happening. I was hoping for some good quality television to come there, and then Yellowstone. That actually followed up. Despite what the critics say, and despite what anybody else out there says, you're right. It has been a rating success. Kevin Costner's been able to bring his name and his experience to it, and you know what? For the most part, it's worked out very well for them. But they don't have a whole lot behind it as far as, like you said, scripted television. Well, unless you call Bar Rescue and Marriage Rescue scripted television, but we won't go there. But I'd like to see more of that because that's what got them in a situation where it got them noticed in the first place. But they're following it up, like you said, with quote unquote unscripted and reality television, which seems to me always like an easy, cheap fix that doesn't always work out.
It's kind of like that's when Paramount did before when it was Spike TV.
And Esquire TV, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, which now it's its own network, the Esquire network.
Well, what's amazing to me. Oh, go ahead.
which is basically third tier, kind of like Viceland is.
Yeah, don't get me started on Viceland. That's something that is very sleek, but if it's very, very nice looking, very their presentations are very good, but their platform and the fact that they go ahead and they're not on somebody else's network, but their shows are trying to be part of their own network, that is just a recipe for disaster because it's that nice show, that nice looking show that nobody watches because it's just not available, their shows seem like it would be a great fit on somebody else's network, but to have it on their own is just, yeah, it's not working out for them. They've
It's
already
like
had to, oh, go ahead.
it's kind of like they have the regular ratings. Blue Tarski 0.0 rounded, even though
Yeah.
there is an audience.
And they've had the as far as from a pop culture standpoint, I can tell you the ratings have been okay for the Dark Side of the Ring. Some of the episodes there have showcased, even though most of the stuff that we've seen on it, as far as from a professional wrestling fan standpoint, has been information that we've seen before and known before. But it was repackaged in a way that it was okay to watch, and it was very slick. It was the way it was presented, and most of their shows are, but they're already cutting staff. They're already cutting shows. Their daily show, I think that they already had to go ahead and cancel pretty much out of the box. So I think, like I said, Viceland should have been in something where they produce shows for other networks as opposed to try and create their own networks because it just doesn't seem to be working out. But getting back to the Paramount Network real quick, my question to you is, why isn't Paramount making a larger effort to go ahead and get their most well-known property, and that is Star Trek? Star Trek is their most well-known property that they have, or at least they're supposed to have. At least you see Paramount as far network, as far as the Paramount company, on as far as them being a major part of the Star Trek universe, and they're not utilizing all those because of all the syndication deals that they've signed out there and things of that nature. Your thoughts on why they haven't addressed this glaring hole that they have that Star Trek could fill up, because you see them on CBS All Access and they're thriving there. And that's the thing, they're thriving on CBS All Access with Star Trek Discovery, the Picard show, the shorts that they did. I don't understand at all why they're not going ahead and making a larger effort to put all or anything Star Trek onto one of their platforms, especially their own network.
I think it has something to do with Star Trek having CBS having the rights to Star Trek at the moment.
But even all the old stuff is still, it's out there in syndication. And to me, it just boggles my mind why they don't use that as schedule filler, or the movies, or all these deals that they have. They could go ahead. Marvel, I will give you an example. Marvel and Disney are making an effort to try and go ahead and recoup everything, including Star Wars as well, to recoup everything for the Disney Plus network, for the Disney Plus outlet. They're trying to recoup everything so they have everything all in one spot. I don't see the same effort being made from Paramount, and that to me is a shame because you have literally thousands of hours of programming that have been a part of the Star Trek universe that you could go ahead and have and be a part of, as far as the Paramount Network is concerned, that people would that would regularly watch, because Star Trek has a niche audience. It doesn't have as large an audience as Star Wars or Marvel or whatnot, but it has its own niche audience that follows it regularly. And to me, I see that as a mistake, that they're not making a larger effort to go ahead and try and put it on its own network. But that's just me.
Yeah, personally, they should have like a mix of like scripted and unscripted, because we're not trying to be like older adults type MTV here. And the ratings are showing it for Paramount. Is they're not making an effort outside of Yellowstone and some unscripted entries.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that. And that's something that there could be the possibility, especially because it's supposed to be backed by Paramount. And as the Paramount Network continues to go on, the question remains is, do they want to go ahead and get to that level that we see from an FX, TNT, TBS, all those higher USA, all those higher profile networks, or do they just want to go ahead and stay, keep the status quo and just stay at that level? That's a commitment they have to go ahead and come to grips with, whether or not they're going to go ahead and have a larger platform, or they want to go ahead and just be there as just another channel. So, anything last in regards to cable going on that you want to talk about going on this summer? Because, like you said, reality TV with MTV is still there, and there's still a lot of other options that are available. But anything, as far as cable that you want to discuss?
Well, there's a lot of premieres going on with the final season of Legion at the end of the month, and we have TNT premiering Claws season 3, which I thought it was pretty interesting. BBC America is also premiering a show called Luther in season 5 this upcoming week. Fear the Walking Dead, and then there's AMC is premiering NOSA S4A2
It's Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, it's basically a vampire as far as it's concerned. It is starring Zachary Quinto, who is from Star Trek. That's probably the best known, or also Heroes. He, I believe, is going to be playing a character that ages to at least to 150 was what I'm reading as far as the press releases. But it does, Nosferatu deals within the vampire realm and Dracula and all that. So we'll have to wait and see how that clicks with audiences. Of course, like you said, Fear the Walking Dead. And I had a conversation last week, and I had a conversation recently with Daphne Matthew from the Walking Dead fan base, one of the largest fan bases for the Walking Dead that's out there. And she was readily admitted of the possibility that this could be the final season for Fear the Walking Dead, because they're going to kill off. Well, there's a good possibility they're going to kill off one of their major characters, and also a possibility that the show, which has been a clear junior show to The Walking Dead, just looks like as the numbers for The Walking Dead goes down, the numbers for Fear the Walking Dead also goes down proportionally. And if that's the case, the cost, the production issues, and all the expenses aside that Fear the Walking Dead has, it looks like that this could very well be the final season for Fear the Walking Dead. My money says it is, but I want to hear your thoughts as far as what the numbers are telling you when it comes to Fear the Walking Dead.
I don't know if season 5 is going to be the final season, but I think they're going to pull like an almost Better Call Saul and call season 6 the final season.
That might be a better assumption, because if that's the case, they might give it one, or at least maybe a truncated season where it's maybe like an extra 2 or 3, 4 episodes in a season 6 to finally call it a day.
That's what the ratings are telling me. It's not that bad. It's like mostly on tier with the middle tier of AMC, and AMC as a whole has gone way down in the ratings, minus a few more shows. But the cost factor is going to add up a little bit, even with and one of the ways they do is killing off some major characters, which frees up some of the cost factor. But how are they going to sustain themselves is the bigger question.
This is true because a lot of their shows that have been staples of the network are either in trouble, ratings decline, or being ended altogether. I mean, there were some other shows that we were, seeing over the course of the past 5, 6 seasons that are actually either ending or have ended. So they're not replacing it with shows that I think are capturing audiences at that same level. So we'll have to wait and see what progresses with A&E. Nosferatu, we'll have to wait and see on how that one's going to do. But I like Zachary Quinto as an actor. I think he's been a great Spock for Star Trek, so I'm hoping for the best for that. But yes, there's a lot of great things going on in cable, but we've delayed it long enough. We're coming right back with more on the ranking of the schedules because the schedules were announced right after the upfronts. And I'll ask you, Jess, you have a ranking from best to worst, or do you want to go worst to best? Because I want to ask you, when it comes to ranking the schedules, what flows best? So I want to hear it. What do you want to do, best to worst or worst to best?
I'll go from best to worst.
Okay.
Clearly, Fox and NBC are pulling all the stops for all their programming. I'm going to expect that they're going to be pretty strong, like in number one and number two. CW is middle tier, but you kind of expect them to like make too many moves but Fox did pull too many moves, which was one of the bigger complaints. But honestly, I saw it as like a really solid schedule, though. There were some clear ratings decline shows like Empire, for example, and there's another show in 911. Let's pair it together. Let's see how that goes on Tuesday nights just to fix that night. That was a pretty solid move.
That was a pretty solid move. So, number one on your list of television schedules overall in your rankings is Fox Television. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And number two is
NBC.
Why is that? I mean, they have a lot of great shows there, and they have been now supplanting CBS as a consistent ratings lead. So I want to hear your thoughts on what is making NBC still so attractive to audiences at this point in time.
I think it's mostly with the promotion, and they're keeping things a little bit stable. Although what kept me at putting it at number one is Thursday night and Sunday night for mid-season, because Sunday night they pretty much punted with putting some of your weakest rated shows on Sunday night when it should be some of the strongest shows in there. There should be a veteran in there somewhere, but putting a weekly rated realities over with an even weaker rated Good Girls, which has a Netflix deal to survive, that's not a good move for affiliates.
No, it's not a good move for affiliates, but still, you can't argue very much with what NBC has been doing because they have now come out as the number one network on television as of now. They've made some good decisions for the most part and have done pretty good as far as overall trying to provide audiences with a variety of scripted and non-scripted programming. So NBC now ranks as your number two network as far as the schedule overall is concerned. What comes after NBC as far as the number three announcement of schedules coming this fall for television?
Well, I'm thinking about, it was a mix. It was very close between, my number three is CW, which is very close with CBS, though CW put out a pretty strong schedule, though, but there were too many open holes. Ratings are going down as a whole, and I think the biggest strong move is using Arrow for the final season for the Flash, because the Flash clearly can't launch a brand new show. So let's try a veteran in there. Let's try and see if Arrow still has some life in it, even for its final season for the crossover. And then we're going to launch the next show. Another solid move is putting Batwoman in the 8 p.m. slot because they have so much faith in that show. But they didn't have that much faith with other entries. But the surprising move, which probably put me at number 3 on it, they put All American on Mondays next to Black Lightning. Sounds like a total mismatch.
It does sound like a total mismatch, but let's hope that works out. In regards to Batwoman, I did see the trailer promo for it. I am impressed with it. I think it's something that could be something good for the network, and that could be something that garners whatever audience catches the CW might actually watch or gravitate towards Batwoman, because I think that I don't know. I just it appealed to me in a way that not many other DC shows on CW has. So I'm hopeful that, especially after the burnout of Gotham, that people still have an interest in the Bat universe, because I don't know. It's going to be tough to say, because we've had so many years of Gotham, and we're going to get a lot of retreads coming when it comes to Batwoman. That's definitely a possibility. Or how's it going to be packaged differently? Because we've also got the Batman DC film coming along the way here in a couple years. So is the people may get burnt out as a whole of the whole Bat universe, and it's all these DC shows on CW. So it is still up in the air, and we'll have to wait and see. But as of now, there's some promising things happening to the CW. I like Batwoman personally as far as a show. I think there's some good momentum towards it, and I think that it does have a chance to succeed, but we'll definitely have to wait and see. What is number 4 on your list of the ranking of the schedules coming up for the fall season? This one to me is a little bit of surprise on how low it's ranking with you.
Yeah, CBS. It's pretty close with CW though. But the thing that made it number 4 on the list is, well, they one they benched a show that was going into its 4th season and would have been in syndication. They benched MacGyver, and then they put Magnum PI to see if it holds its audience on Friday. Doubt it. And then they have, plus they got the big hits are going to probably be, let's see what Thursday nights are going to go on, because we have like 3 new comedies going to premiere both on Mondays and on Thursdays. We'll see if it fires like on all cylinders, like, or creates a solid backing like The Neighborhood. But the two comedy blocks, you have like, it's basically the A show on Thursday, and then you get the B show, still solid, Junior Rookie on Mondays. Another thing is,
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to continue on CBS. So I just was wondering about that.
It's keeping Bull on the thing even through controversy. That's another thing.
Yeah, Bull has been a great source of controversy indeed. You and I discussed that in our May TV update, and it is still continuing today, how it's still out there as a show and as a continuing series. I mean, a lot of controversy and talk is behind it. Not all of it good, of course. CBS is still sticking by it. How much longer? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the ratings will dictate that. I am still not in love with many of the CBS period dramas that they have there. The 1 hour dramas, very formulaic. A lot of them are drab. A lot of them are very uninteresting. But you know what? That's me. But kudos to everybody out there that's enjoyed it, because CBS has been a favorite for so long. I think some of these shows are getting a little bit long in the tooth. I'm not going to go ahead and mention any names in particular, but there are a lot of shows that are long in the tooth, and that's part of the reason why I think NBC has overtaken them as the number one network, is because their reluctance to go ahead and shift in different directions. So as long as they keep on this periodic drama type format and this 1 hour drama, fill in spots with that and sprinkle in with maybe a sitcom here or there, that still to me says that they're not deviating from their plan, no matter how much maybe the audience is trying to communicate them to doing so. I mean, they still have their base audience that they draw from, but as that audience tends to get older and there's new millennials and new people trying to go ahead and find what's good on TV, they're deviating from stuff like that was being presented on CBS and maybe going either to an NBC or a streaming option or other type of outlet.
And I also mentioned mentioning Criminal Minds for the final season.
Yes, yes, Criminal Minds for the final season, benching it, and that's a long running show that again that may have worn out its welcome a little bit too long, but you know what? There's still other great programming that they have on CBS. It's just with all the 1 hour dramas that they have on there, you've got to be someone that's committed to watching whatever CBS has to offer in that realm. For me, it's never really turned me on as far as I got to go ahead and watch it. I got to go ahead and watch it. CBS has really never drawn me in as a consumer, but they're still a solid base. They were number one for many years, and now trying to get back into that position is going to be a tough task, especially the fact that their audiences, like I said, is getting older, and their shows are continuing there to matriculate year after year after year much of a without much new fresh blood that's able to connect with audiences. So, what is your fifth and final? Well, you can pretty much tell already. Fifth and final on the list of ranking of schedules, because this, of all the five, the networks that we've seen, is probably the one that you have the most problem with. And yeah, I'll let you go ahead from there. ABC has a lot of issues. I know we hinted briefly in the past. I know we hinted briefly earlier in this conversation as far as the change in regime. What has the change in regime as far as up at ABC done to make or not make a schedule that's worth watching this fall?
ABC, Tuesday night, super weak. The other thing is they were they were too safe on Mondays. And they put the rookie in the Sunday night death slot, which has been a death slot for a couple seasons now, whereas Tuesday is just mediocre. And for a while, Tuesday night has been in the okay. The rookie has been doing okay compared to a falling comedy block. So it's not as bad for Tuesday night death slot as Sundays has been for the past few seasons outside of American Idol. Going into Friday, they decided to take a solid B show, is like I call it with CBS, with American Housewife. They put it on Fridays, and TGIF has not set the world on fire. Let's just say that. And they're continuing that for another season.
And is there anything else from ABC that you see is going to help them at all? I mean, because like you said, they're in a state of flux at this point in time with some shows that really are not resonating well with audiences. There's some others that, are doing okay, but for the most part, ABC is the big three is falling behind, and that's for unfortunately some very poignant reasons why that they're not really at that level of NBC or CBS at this point in time.
And I think the reason is they put, I don't want to say like, I mean, Dana Weldon as the new president of programming on like ABC as a whole, she's okay. It's Carrie Burke that everyone has been having problems with in the ratings world. Because she was the one that like literally ordered the lowest number of pilots, and none of the pilots that were eventually going to be put on air are up to par with air. And so that's why they made a poorly constructed schedule.
It apparently looks like it. And unfortunately, when it comes to the ranking of schedules right now coming up for the fall season, ABC is falling a little bit short. It's a shame to see because ABC has fallen from grace a little bit. Whether or not they're going to be able to go ahead and recoup those losses and recoup themselves as a network, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Disney owns it. They could go ahead and put a lot into it if they choose to. I don't see them doing so. I still see them just going status quo with just a sprinkle in here, sprinkle in there. It's really not effective enough to see them overcoming NBC and CBS. It's just like I said, it's just strange that they're paying much more attention to Disney Plus, Hulu, FX, and some other options, and they're not really paying attention to what they could be doing in seeing, as far as maybe a Star Wars show or maybe a better Marvel show than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that would come to ABC. I mean, we talk about all these shows, these Marvel shows that are coming to Hulu Plus, to Disney Plus, excuse me, to Disney Plus. And instead of going to Disney Plus, at least one or two of these shows, why don't they come to ABC? That would be awesome. But again, it's all about the money and the subscriptions. I get that. Disney Plus is going to get it. But still, ABC does need a boost, does need a jolt, and I don't see them getting it anytime soon. I don't see them getting it on the fall schedule. I don't see that potential breakout hit from them. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm guessing from you by what you see when you rank them fifth out of the 5 major networks that there's not that major breakout hit on the horizon from you as well.
Yeah, because they put all of their supposed breakout hits in death slots, pretty much. And they basically left Thursday as it is since mid-season with the Grey's Anatomy, a Million Little Things, and they put The Rookie on an even worse death slot than Tuesday on Sunday, which Sunday has been the lowest rated night for outside of American Idol before the reality shows came in.
That's something definitely to think about when it comes to what's going on this fall, when it comes to the schedules and the programming of things you want to see and watch when it comes to broadcast television. But I'll tell you what, there's always something going on when it comes to the TV Ratings Guide and the TVRatingsGuide.com. Jessica, you've been such a great part of the show. Let us know, or let everybody know out there what is going on when it comes to the TV rating scene and the TVRatingsGuide.com. Why is the TVRatingsGuide.com going to be the destination to go to when it comes to getting people up to date on the TV rating scene?
We have reviews, we have renew cancels, we have opinion columns, we also have our own original shows on the horizon. It's like we're literally starting summer programming and summer ideas. And we also have like an off-topic thread for where commenters can comment on random things that are not TV related.
Fair enough, fair enough. But tell me this. The TVRatingsGuide.com will not have its own version of divorce rescue or marriage rescue, I should say. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
but we
wondering.
do have family reunions.
Okay. Well, that's close enough. Leave it at that. Don't get
And
into the don't get into the marriage rescue at the TVRatingsGuide.com. That's all I ask. All I ask. It is the TVRatingsGuide.com. You got to check out all their awesome programming. Again, they do great job with all their articles, updates, reviews, original programming, and so much more when it comes to the TVRatingsGuide.com. And you never know, you might see something from me on there as well. Might go ahead and start looking into putting some things out there for streaming and might send that over to you at the TVRatingsGuide.com. You never know. We'll have to wait and see. Jessica, it's always a great time talking to you about the latest and greatest coming up in the TV rating scene. It's going to be a great summer. I hope to see you back in July with another TV ratings update.
or maybe a little before then.
We'll have to wait and see. I hope so. Great to talk to you again, and always glad to have you a part of the pop culture cosmos.